I was totally unaware that the laptop throttled back when it was on battery. And because it was an issue plugging the, anyway, I didn't plug it in and throttled back, but it runs just fine anyway. And the test is the run the Mandelbrot, it's Mandelbrot example, and it writes a file for each of the methods. So if you have a bug, you get different pictures. So it's just visual debugging. Very, very, very useful. Anyway, enough for that. And this is the CSV shootout. Okay, so everyone sooner or later usually winds up reading CSV files. And so I did some timings on some USB readers. The historical one that I created a long time ago, and it seemed pretty good. And some of the other ones that were floating around on the web. And someone who's in the room gave me one, which was really cool. And I'd like to talk about it for a moment. And this one here, split 4. Can you see it at the back? I can make the font bigger. It's pretty short. It comes in with a string that you want to split, the delimiter character, and it calls accumulate, begin, end, and the initial value, which says create a string of size 1, it's empty, and a lambda function, the accumulated value, and the character you want to examine. So between beginning and end, it comes in with a character. If it's equal to delimiter character, push back the string. Otherwise, add the character to the end, and when this is done, return the accumulator. So I thought that was really cool until I timed it. Unfortunately, cool doesn't necessarily equal fast, and this ran about 1,500 times slower than the code that I had historically tuned and been using over the years. But I still think it's cool that it's really, really short. So I'd like to the author of this elegant short piece of code is Hassan. He's sitting in the back there. He's shy, but anyway, wave your hands, Hassan. There you go. So, I mean, it is cool. But if you look at the timings on it, where did I do the timings? There's the timing. So it's not so bad. Well, I'm sorry. I was confusing the file read. This file read here with the Hassan's code. So it's not 1,500 times. It's 4 times. That's much better. Anyway, I still think it's cool for just one call to accumulate reads a whole CSV file. Now, we did some other things in here where we used the same approach for reading new wide character files. And I have a wide character file, which is the Shanghai subway station list. So it lists stations, like the train number and then the station. And when you do the same thing here, you'll see that my code is not as hot as some of the other stuff we found on the web. And here the accumulate thing is about 10 times slower. Anyway, still cool for one line. I think it's, if someone told me to write a CSV reader in one line, I don't think I could do it. So hats off to us, Sam. So there's the Shanghai subway map, line 1, line 2, et cetera, with all the wide characters. Now so all the various lines, line 16, et cetera. So the thing is, why does CSV wide character handling take so much longer than just 8-bit char? And the answer is, even if it's reading an 8-bit char file, it's going to store them as wide characters, which stores all sorts of overhead and stuff every time you go to access one. It's not as simple as just doing a 8-bit unsigned char, which the other stuff does. So even though it's looking for a comma, which is a character, it's going to store it as a wide character, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the wide character overhead is substantial, but hey, it works. And even the one-line accumulate can be modified to work with wide characters, and it was fun to play with it. That's about all I wanted to say about CSV readers. So we got some hot ones if you want one. If you want to copy my code, you're more than welcome to. And there's hot ones in there and ones that aren't so hot. And you can see that depending on the compiler, one may win versus the other on a specific data type. That's it for that one.